Dig deep, Casey. Be a pansy.
Seriously.
Something like that.
It's true, though.
But how was your night's rest?
Amazing.
They're going to say, did you see Julie McQueen? She was hammered. When she gets drunk, she looks like a dude.
Like, it looks like it's
Come on,
unlocked.
Aaron. You can figure it out.
I'll come across Brent and smack the out of you after I stretch.
We are very blessed today to have our special guest, Miss Julie McQueen. Say hi, Julie.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Yeah, it's better.
Did you say it was Viagra gave you a heart attack?
It gave me a first heart attack when I was 21.
All right. Well,
Whatever. Anyway.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
I am very system, and it was the Cialis that got me at 28.
Nobody says Louisville, man.
That's right. Thank you, Sean. You know, and I'm looking right here. I see a bunch of positive people.
it looks like the Mountain Mops booth is the place to be.
Yeah, seriously.
You know?
One of us is going to die. And
He loops like a, it's like a shiitake mushroom. Things like
This old highway's getting longer. I was self-taught, yeah.
Hey, you're one of those people that piss me off.
I think Bowman cast.
I know. Seriously.
Bowman podcast.
it's like when there's carbon in the air, there's hope.
You're like really close to my comfort zone here, though. I'll take that as a compliment.
Often.
Hey, everybody. Daniel Lee Martin here with Julie McQueen and the Gritty Bowman and his baby brother.
This is Cameron Haynes, and you're watching the Gritty Bowman.
Hi, I'm Brandon Bates. He's Easton Corbett. You're listening to the Gritty Bowman Show.
What he said.
This is Wishes for Warriors, and you're watching the Gritty Bowman Show.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Eva Shockey, and you are listening to The Gritty Bowman.
Hello, all right. You're listening to the Gritty Bowman, home of gritty bow hunting films, interviews, tall tales, and a wee bit of manly boasting.
I'm South Cox, and you're listening to The Gritty Bowman.
On this episode of Gritty Bowman, we travel to Louisville, Kentucky to attend the ATA Trade Show. ATA stands for Archery Trade Association. The ATA Trade Show is the archery and bow hunting industry's largest show. The show is a member-driven event to promote commerce within the archery and bow hunting industry. In today's podcast, we visit with Eva Shockey. Eva's dad, Jim Shockey, is one of the most well-known hunters in the world. Today, Eva co-hosts Jim Shockey's Hunting Adventures TV show and represents the Shockey family at outdoor trade and consumer shows. Eva was a breath of fresh air. She was easy to talk to, down to earth, and an excellent ambassador for hunting. Challenging the stereotypical image of the knuckle-dragging, fist-pumping male hunter, Eva makes it difficult for those against hunting to claim that hunters are uneducated, heartless, animal-hating human beings. And for this, I thank her. I hope you enjoy the show.
If you like the show, please go to our website at grittybowman.com and subscribe to this podcast and tell your mates and pals about us. Do us a favour and please take a moment to leave us a rating or a review on iTunes or on our YouTube channel. Send your questions and podcast ideas to grittybowman@gmail.com. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you can see the video version of this podcast on our website at www.grittybowman.com.
You definitely do not want to walk in here with a donut.
I know, Cameron Haynes brought that
Yeah,
muffin
like
in,
he eats
and then he
that.
left it
He's
here.
like, here you go.
He traded me for a peanut butter bar.
I saw he was eating that. I was checking it out. It looked really good.
They are
the
good.
The fruit nut ones.
Yeah, I like the peanut butter and then the almond.
It's called Perfect Bar?
Perfect Bars. They're in the refrigerated section of like the Whole Foods stores.
I like those because they're healthier.
Yeah, they got like omega-3s and stuff. You can't get them in. They need to be in a refrigerator or they'll go bad. But they're all like honey and nuts.
We don't have a Whole Foods near us, but we have have you heard of Wegmans? Might be a PA brand. Or Fresh Market?
Mm-mm.
Okay, wow.
So it's kind of like a Fred
I think it would be the closest.
They even have them like in like big box stores like Fred Meyer, or I don't know if they have them in Walmart,
Costco?
but they have them in that section that's like organic.
The organic frozen stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or not frozen, but fridge. Yeah.
I don't think Walmart even has organic fridge section.
Walmart. I might have been
really
stretching it with the Walmart thing. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
All right, folks. Welcome to the Gritty Bowman podcast. I am here with Eva Shockey at the ATA show in the Mountain Ops booth.
The best place to be.
It's cool. This is a cool hangout.
This is a great place to people watch, too. We get to talk and watch all the cool people walking by.
And there's a lot of, you were commenting, muscles in this area?
Yeah, you come to this booth and everyone's all jacked and fit, and you're like, oh, gosh, I need to put my donut down.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Well, I'm really excited to interview you. I've watched your dad for years. As I'm getting up there. I'm 41.
The fact that you have some gray hair and you watched my dad probably since you were little, which really dates my dad.
Yeah, I mean,
which makes me happy because it's funny.
He's like an idol, you know. I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast recently. I loved it.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
He was so good on that podcast.
I hear him talking all the time, and I listen to it thinking, okay, I'll listen to it for like 20 minutes. I'll probably get bored because I've probably heard it before because obviously I've grown up with him, and it's great that he talks about it. But, I've heard him say it quite a few times. I listened to it was I think 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
I listened to the entire thing, and I was like, please keep talking. I thought they both did a great job.
He was so gracious, and he knew, Rogan was too. And I really like the way that your dad he even gave me a few more arrows in my quiver for when I talk about hunting to the non-hunter.
It's amazing because you think I don't want to say you've heard it all, but I feel like I have a lot of, I would say, arguments or positives about hunting, about why it's so great, because people obviously ask me a lot, and I always feel like I'm sort of defending it and I'm just kind of promoting it or whatever it is, but it's nice. I love hearing people like my dad, and I mean, even though he's my dad, I learn every single day from him, and hearing his point of view and his opinion about hunting and why it's so great. And obviously we both agree it's great, but not everyone is in the same position, and knowing more about why it's good there's no negative to that. It's
and
just
he
a
was
great thing.
So respectful to those that aren't hunters as well, like from their opinion, but still presenting his case. I really enjoyed it, and it was just neat to see that, as I've been a big fan for a long time. The first time I saw you, I'll be honest, I was flipping through hunting channels, and then, boom, you came on the screen, and I went past it, and I was like, whoa. I had to go back and get a double take. I was like, because not only were you a woman, hunting, but you're also quite attractive. And so the blue eyes, the blonde hair. Yeah, well, that's one of my questions.
Thank you.
You could put the whole package together. You're a female hunter. Your dad is Jim Shockey. You know what I mean?
I think I would say that people know not really to mess with me. I don't know if that's an intimidating thing because of me personally, or just because I think they know that I'm a strong person and they know, don't mess with me in a bad way. But the cool thing about hunters is they're generally family oriented and they're generally respectful. To be totally honest, I mean, I've been involved with this since I was little, but heavily involved in the last 7 years, as my whole every day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
And in 7 years, I have not once had somebody that's made me uncomfortable, or maybe they'll say joking things like, oh, my son loves you, or they'll come up and say, oh, I love you, or whatever. I mean, people have all their own ideas of what kind of girls they like. But when I get that, they're generally, first of all, they're making a joke to make me laugh, which is great, is entertaining, and they're just really respectful about it, and that's all that really matters. I mean, I understand that I don't look like what maybe lots of people think were hunters in the past, and I think the coolest thing about that is that it's adapting really fast. In the last 5 years alone, I've seen this crazy change of people, and I would fall in the stereotype too. I'd see a girl and I would just assume, you're not a hunter, it's probably your husband, which is crazy because that's exactly what I fight. The stereotype that I think, or I used to think, was what I hated when people would do it about me.
Yeah, but you have you can't deny the impact that you've had in the industry, and women are just, that demographic in the hunting community is growing rapidly. I mean, what have you seen just in the short time that you've kind of come on the scene in terms of from changes, from before you started doing this to now? I've seen a huge jump in the number of female hunters clothing, products, all targeted toward.
Mm-hmm. I definitely don't want to take a ton of credit for that because it's a lot of different people.
It's a group
of really wonderful women, and there was people before me that paved the way much more than I did. And obviously, I came in about 7 years ago, and I started up, and it's just been my whole life and my passion for that whole time. So I'm sure it's helped a little bit, and there's lots of other people since I started that now and I'm like the older one now that they've come in. I'm like, wait a minute. But it's so cool because I grew up in this industry. Obviously, if my dad he's a hunter and he has his show on Outdoor Channel, and it's just been my whole life. And when I was little, I would come to these shows. Like I would come to ATA and come to SHOT Show with my mom and my dad would be working, and we'd be literally two of the maybe 30 women or females in these convention halls. And I was like, I don't really want to hunt because I don't want to be a boy. I don't want to be like a boy. I don't want people to think I'm a boy because I'm obviously quite feminine and girly. And it took me years to realize, like, you don't have to be a boy to go hunting. You don't have to be manly to love hunting and to love being outdoors. I can wear a dress one day, I can wear camo one day, and I don't have to apologize for that. And it's now becoming more popular, and like you were saying, a few aspects changed. I would say social media was one of them. It allowed women and girls of all ages to access hunters in an easier way than maybe they're a little bit intimidated, so they don't want to go jump into a hunt or jump into a hunting group or forum or whatever. But going on social media, they can learn a bit. And then I would say products like Under Armour, they started their women's hunt line. That was absolutely huge. It's incredible. They started in 2010, and it's 2016 now, and they've just exploded. They have incredible products. I love they come out, and I'm obsessed with every single one.
Because there was a time when you had to wear boy clothes, basically.
Oh my gosh, they have a birthday cake for me.
Look at that candle.
I wish everyone listening could see this. Happy birthday, Eva Shockey Brent. That's amazing.
Happy birthday. Is that fondant?
This is your I got to blow out a later thing.
That's nice.
We made sure your full name was
Shockey Brent. I would say I just got married a few months ago, and I'm still very confused on what my last name is because it's sort of a combination. Hey, guys. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I hope this is made of pure Mountain Ops products and not anything unhealthy.
Which I, by the way, saw like your recipe for, was it pancakes,
for waffles, pancakes. I literally, everything I would make before, which generally was pretty healthy, but it was maybe missing like enough protein, I now adapt and put Mountain Ops in it, and it just makes it better. Whether you taste it or not, depending on the recipe, it just makes it have protein, and it makes it healthy, and all this stuff that's good for you added to what I was already
How did you get into the Mountain Ops stuff? Like,
I met Jordan, I think it was actually exactly a year ago. I think it was at ATA that we met. He grabbed me at one of the booths. I don't know where I was. I was with my dad somewhere, and he grabbed me, and I was kind of on the side. And first of all, you know Jordan well, like the owner of Mountain Ops, started Mountain Ops. The most friendly, lively, contagious person you'll ever meet. He just makes me smile. Like, I literally met him and was already like, oh, you're a great person. I want to be your friend. And he was telling me about this product, and I get approached, as you can probably imagine, all the time about new products, which is I have no problem with, but obviously it just kind of gets a little much, and I'm like, I don't often use the new products because we already have great products we use. And protein was something that my husband is a professional hockey player, so I've been, since we've been together, we're definitely into health and fitness, and before that I was the same, and I've always been a little weary about protein powders and supplements, and I guess I didn't really understand them, and I wasn't sure if I needed them or wanted them. And Jordan from Mountain Ops was like, we had this protein powder, this supplement company, or I don't exactly know what you even call it, just an awesome company that makes all this stuff that is a combination of like hunting and that kind of thing, and then also fitness, which essentially to me is the same thing. Like, it's a lifestyle. But he told me about it, and I was like, okay, send me something. And I was definitely listening, but I was like a little skeptical. And he sent it to me, and about a year ago, like just after the shows, and I started using it just like for fun. Didn't have any sort of, I didn't promise him anything or say I was going to post it or anything like that. And I got this huge box. I started using it, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Then I got my husband using it, and he loves it. And then we started talking more and more to Jordan. I was emailing him back and forth, and he'd call us. I remember one time we sat in the car, and Jordan and my husband and I were in my car, and Jordan was out from Utah or wherever he lives, and we talked for like an hour, and we didn't. My husband's never even met him. We talked for an hour in the car, like instead of going into the restaurant. And I just started going from there, and then over the year I used it, and I was at the time getting in shape for my wedding, which I try to stay in shape all year, but when you're getting married, I feel like it's a different kind of shape.
Motivation.
Yeah, exactly. And I would wake up in the morning and I'd be excited about having a protein smoothie. I'd be excited to get out of bed so that I could go blend a smoothie and drink it and then go to the gym.
I met him I met Casey, his brother, at the Northwest Sportsman show in Portland. Mm-hmm. And I was really skeptical. Like, if you talk about supplements, I'm like, it's snake oil.
Yeah, and I think some of them are bad for you, and they don't do enough research and whatever. But this is like Mountain Ops is completely different.
That's what surprised me. When I got into it and started looking at it, it was actually really legit. I liked all the ingredients. I liked how they manufactured it. And so then they came to my family reunion up in the mountains in Utah. Like, all my family came from across all these states, and we all met in Utah, where a lot of the family is. And they come up there, and I met Jordan for the first time. And, really infectious, outgoing, fun, caring person.
Wait, why did they come to your family reunion?
Just to hang out with me.
I thought because you're friends.
At the time, I only knew Casey.
Oh, you knew Casey. I'm like, why would Jordan come to your family reunion?
I was like, okay, Casey, you need to come up here. And so they came up and they hung out because there was only like a couple hours from their house to where we were camped. Mm-hmm. So they come out and hang out and met my whole family, and we got to know each other a little more. And Jordan was just really neat. So from there, and then I continued to use the products and just really like them. Mm-hmm. So
my favorite thing when I first started, since I started using them, they've come up with a lot of new stuff, and it's equally as incredible. But my favorite thing, which kind of got me hooked from the beginning, was ammo. Their ammo product, which is a meal replacement, which would be what I would have like in the morning. I don't really feel like eating, but I know I need to eat. I need to have protein, and so I love it. But the fact that you have to put it in the fridge, and then it has servings of fruits and vegetables, which I've never heard of, that kind of thing that you have to put in the fridge. And the fact you put it in the fridge is because it's healthy, and I just love that. I'm like, it tastes good, obviously, but the fact that for me, who's like really health conscious, I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of a litmus test. It's like an indicator that this actually has real food in it.
Yeah, it's actually good for you. And I know there's lots of things you don't have to put in the fridge, which are equally as good. It's just that, to me, was the thing that really got me hooked. And my husband, who is the hockey player, has had obviously taken protein for years and years and years, like way before it even tasted good. He said he used to take like protein powder and be like gagging, closing his nose back when he was 15 before it really came out on the market. And he said he's never seen one like that you have to put it in the fridge because that's how good it is. And I think it's so cool that they thought of that and involved.
Aaron Snyder and I eat those peanut butter bars, perfect peanut butter bars I was telling you about before.
Yeah, I saw those today.
And they come out of the refrigerated section as well. And there's just something about that just says real food. Like
exactly. I put stuff in the fridge that doesn't even need to be in the fridge just because I feel like if it's cold, it makes me feel better. But this genuinely does need to be in the fridge, which means it is better for you.
The Mountain Ops Magnum, the whey protein, the straight whey.
I love that, I
love that stuff.
The chocolate one is really good. I drink it all the time. I actually mix it, which I don't know if it's probably not good. I mix it with coffee. So it's like a mocha, but it's a mocha with protein. So because I have my coffee at the same time as my protein. Yeah, it's perfect. I don't know if you tell Jordan that. I don't know.
They're probably going to come out with it next. It'll just be like,
it'll be like the Eva
Mountain Ops mocha. Yeah, Eva
mochaccino.
So back to the whole, so you started, signed on with Mountain Ops then? Or?
Well, yeah, so I started using their products about a year ago, and the cool thing about this industry is it's not really a forced thing. There's lots of different products you can be involved with, and you can use them, not just supplements and stuff like that, but guns and scopes and whatever. Like, generally, you use a product and love it before you would officially sign with them, whereas other industries I know sometimes they'll come to you because they want promotion, and it's kind of fake and forced. And we, especially in my family, at least I can only speak for us, we try so hard. We only partner with people or companies that we genuinely love and believe in, that I would go to the store and buy it myself. I want to buy it, and that's what I feel passionate about. So basically, I used it for a year, loved it, kept in touch with Jordan. My husband loves it. He got all his hockey teammates taking it too, or drinking it or whatever. And then a few months ago, I actually didn't even really know it was happening. My dad and I have the same manager, I guess, just business manager for work stuff. And he emailed me and was like, hey, like Jordan from Mountain Ops, we have a contract written up. I was like, a contract for what? Like I literally, that's how much I was taking it every day. I just didn't have any intention of, I didn't realize that was even on the table. And the next day I was signing a contract for like, I don't know, a bunch of years that we're officially partnered, which is just the coolest thing to know that they believe in me and I believe in them.
Yeah.
And it's just such a natural fit.
Like as the Gritty Bowman podcast has been growing, we're entering that whole phase where we start to, do we partner? And I've been doing it for about a year, and I haven't had any sponsorships or partnerships with anybody because I really wanted to make it independent, and not muddy or, once you start signing stuff and you get involved, and it kind of, I didn't want it to change my message or what I was doing.
Which is why you want to partner with people that you already would talk about, or you'd already believe in, you'd already use, because then it doesn't change anything.
And then that's the thing. That's cool that you were using it before you even partnered for a long time. And that's kind of how we've been too. Like any of the companies that we're looking at working with, they're companies that we've been fans of for a long time.
Which is great if you're in a position where you can do that. And I know sometimes maybe it can't happen for people just starting out. I get that, and they need to break in somehow. But luckily, which I'm very grateful for, I'm not necessarily in that position. Because I've grown up in this industry, we've been around for a long time and we know a lot of people, and it's just it's good in that way. But this company, I love it. My dad has not quite gotten bored only because first of all, I think he's too lazy to take like stuff like that, and he doesn't necessarily go to the gym. He works out in the mountains. But I'm sure he would love it just as much. It's just anyone that tries it likes it.
Yeah, try it.
Exactly. I'll take it my girlfriends. And that's another thing. It's sort of there's negative taboo or sort of gray area taboo about protein powders and females, and like it's going to make you super buff. And I fell into that same thing when I was younger as well, before I met my husband, because I didn't fully grasp the concept of it. And I'm like, well, if I take protein powder, I'm going to be like this jacked up girl, and everyone's going to be like, are you a girl or are you a boy? And so that's obviously incorrect, not true information whatsoever. But you take it because it feeds your body, and it's a great way, especially the stuff that they make is just so healthy and so good for you, and so many other elements that you need in your body anyway. So it's I take it every season. I didn't bring it on this trip because we're at the trade shows, and as soon as I got on the plane, I was like, why didn't I bring it? It's not exactly the smallest little container to put in my bag, and I have a lot of clothes, but I should have.
On the note, like we were talking about earlier with women in the hunting industry, where do you think that is going if it continues on? I mean, where can you see it in 5 years, 10 years, and beyond if we continue to recruit women, welcome women, embrace women in the industry?
Ideally, I would like it, if I could have my way, I would like it in the future, and hopefully not too far in the future, like a year, 2 years, maybe 5 years, whatever, or 10 years. I just want people to see, hunting, and not just assume you have to be a guy or be look a certain way. I think I would love people to see girls and just,
it's not a gender driven sport,
not be shocked.
Or lifestyle. It's a either gender lifestyle.
Exactly. It's just a lifestyle, and we sort of try to hammer that in people's heads because they come at us with all these questions, and anti-hunters or otherwise, they just sort of were like, oh, trophy hunters, and they name all these negative things that, like, I think trophy hunting is a derogatory term in general. Like, I don't think we are trophy hunters. We hunt for meat, and we hunt to provide for ourselves, and we hunt to provide for our families and our friends. And that's like the stereotype that we don't like, because hunting is providing meat, and it's a lifestyle. You go out. It's not about killing an animal. It's about going out. It's about the adventure, and it's about the physical attribute and being in shape and practicing with your bow or your gun beforehand, and spending time in the fresh air with your family. And in this case, like, obviously we use certain products, which would be hunting clothes, hunting gear, hunting supplements, all that. They're all involved, and that's what a hunter is. It's not a man. It's not a redneck wearing camo spitting. I mean, it can be, and that's no problem. I mean, I'm a redneck. Everyone in there is probably a redneck. But there's lots of different types of hunters, and I would love for people to just understand that. I think the growth of women in the hunting industry doesn't really have a ceiling. Women are capable of a lot of things, which I try to live every day, like believe it and actually practice and preach it, that we can do. I mean, I hope more women get involved. I hope more girls are able to be in a position like I'm in, that they can speak about it, they can grow their social media channels, and they can have a voice and influence people in a positive way. I think more and more products are getting developed. All the time people think, oh, it's already been done, but they say that, and 5 years later there's all these other things that are done since they said that, and so there's always possibilities, and I think it's exciting to see what happens.
What do you recommend for women that are starting to, that are thinking about going hunting? Like, what would you say to those women that are thinking they might want to get into hunting, but maybe aren't comfortable with it or don't know where to begin?
I think the biggest thing for me, which people assume I just jumped in and I knew everything about it because I'm my dad. I grew up, and my mom's was a professional ballet jazz dancer. I was a competitive dancer and athlete in all these different sports, and not a hunter growing up at all. And obviously I was around it, but I didn't necessarily think, because of the stereotype when I was growing up, there was no really women that did it. And I just was like, well, I want to be a classy lady like my mom, so I can't hunt. And that's just what I thought. So it took me a little while, but the biggest thing I would say is what I had to remind myself nonstop is don't be intimidated, because just because you don't know what the other people know doesn't mean you don't belong there. You don't have to be an expert at something. You don't have to be an expert skier to start skiing. You just start and learn and fall and then get back up and ski and then fall probably a bunch more and keep doing it. And hopefully you have someone that you can watch or you can use as a mentor, or you can follow their example. And a good actual way to get someone like that, I would say turn on Outdoor Channel. For me, that was huge. I grew up and I watched it a lot. I still do. There's lots of great programs. Our show, Jim Shockey's Hunting Adventures, was what I'm involved with, but there's other equally as amazing, well, I don't want to say equally, but just kidding. They are equally as amazing shows. Another big one would be social media. So go on social media, you can connect with me up to start because I'm talking, but from my page you can see, Eva's friends with Tiffany Lakoski, and she's cool. She does a different kind of hunting than Eva does. And then Tiffany's friends with the girls from Under Armour, and they do a different sort of style, so I want to follow them too, and just kind of get involved with it in that way and learn. I tell people all the time, go to local Cabela's. They have them all over the States and in Canada. They're incredible stores. You can go and see all the animal displays, which I think is really interesting for people that aren't really familiar with it. To me, it's second nature to have animals in your house, in a trophy room kind of thing, or mounts or whatever.
That's true.
In Cabela's, though, people go in and they're shocked.
They just look at it.
I think
it's
is so
the
cool.
first time they've
never seen them. Of course they've never seen them. You don't just have them you don't go buy them from a
I remember going to my uncle's house and staring at the wall for hours, just as a little kid, because we didn't have any in my house, but I just go there and look at them for hours.
Because they're incredible, beautiful, amazing things. And the cool thing about Cabela's, they have these displays, and they'll have plaques, and they'll have the name of the animal, and they'll say kind of where it's from.
What year.
Maybe who hunted it, what year exactly. And you can learn a lot. I go into those, and you'd think I would know a lot of animal names, and I think I do, but I go in and I'm always surprised. There's always a few I don't know what that species is. There's a lot of things in Africa I'm really not familiar with. And so that would be a good start. And then on top, obviously, you see the animals. There's products there that you get to go look at them and touch them and see the demos and go to the optics section and ask the guy what's your favorite brand of optics? We use Leupold, so I would say that's the best. My dad's been with them for the only optics scope he's ever in his life used, which is a Leupold scope, which after all these years he's still using the same. It's good. That's
cool.
Yeah, there's all different ways.
So as people are as hunters, I'm changing the question here a little bit. It seems like we're always under some threat from anti-hunting groups or those that are just non-hunting at times for activities like trophy hunting and so forth. we as hunters all publish to social media. Many of us do, not everyone, but a lot of us share our things on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. And I do a podcast and do film. People have photos. They share their experiences. Like, what do you recommend? Like, people share and how they share it? I mean, because what I'm kind of getting to is, I watch what some people post and what some hunters share, and it doesn't always paint us in the best light. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, what are your thoughts on that, and why does it matter?
I think there's sort of a twofold answer to this. First of all, baseline, I believe that hunters should stand by hunters and support hunters and not fight against other hunters. As long as they're doing it, what they're doing is legal. Yeah, ethical, legal. Ethical, legal. Morally, I can't compare myself to another hunter, because maybe our morals are different. But if it's, I would say ethical and legal are the two things. As long as they're doing that, it'll be tough to get me to say, oh, that person's not doing it right, or this person. Yeah. I can speak for myself, what I believe in, because I think hunters have enough people going against us that we need to stand in one united group. And yeah, like maybe you post different pictures that are a little more gory, maybe not you, but someone else will post photos with a little more gore involved. Yeah. And I try to be a little bit more conservative as far as we don't post pictures with blood everywhere. We don't post pictures with the tongue of the animal out. We don't post pictures straddling an animal when it's after we shot it, because in my family, we've grown up that we have a huge respect for those animals. We don't fist pump after we shoot something. And like, I don't care if you do that. It's not my thing to judge that.
I think we all go through so many different emotions.
Exactly, yeah.
But you do have to look at it from the outside, like what is someone's perception, because perception does matter.
Yes, and I can speak for what I do, and because I believe that in my position that's the best thing to do. Yeah. Like I was saying, those things you we genuinely do respect this animal, because that animal that we're hunting, it had this amazing life. It was in free range. It was running around having whatever it wanted to eat and wherever it wanted to go. And then when you are hunting for it and you get it, like that animal at that point gave its life for you. And when you walk up to it, it's a moment of reverence. We call it in my family. It's a moment you respect this animal, and you're proud and you're sad and you're happy, and your emotions are just going up and down, because that animal is obviously no longer living. But you know, from that moment forward, you're going to go skin the animal, butcher the animal, bring the animal home with you, pay for like a bunch of things in that process along the way, and that money's giving people jobs in local areas. And then you're gonna, every night when you cook that animal, you get to appreciate it. And so for us, that's completely a big part of it. So when you're talking about social media or posting and what you should be posting, I mean, I would say, if I could make everyone do it, I would love for everyone to do it in a respectful way. And that would be the word I would use, because everyone that maybe is a little bit of a different, you can understand that a little different and use it a little bit differently. But I think everyone understands what respect means. And that animal gave its life for you to appreciate and for you to enjoy and eat. And as long as you portray that in the photos, I don't think, the thing that I think hurts us as a group is when hunters try to shock people. And that's not, we don't hunt to shock people. We hunt because we're proud of what we do and we know it's a good thing. So
shock or ego.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, the anti-hunters, maybe I don't agree with them and they hurt my feelings and they say mean things sometimes, but I'm not trying to go shock them and make them uncomfortable. I'm just proud of what I do, and that's all I need to focus on. I don't need to focus on someone else. Life is way too short to try to focus on what someone else is thinking about you. Yeah. So that's just what we do. We do that in our TV show. We try not, like when people ask me, how will I repost their photo? And they'll post this photo on my page, and I don't feel comfortable posting it because I'm not going to go post a photo where there's blood everywhere. Yeah. Like, obviously there's blood involved with hunting. It's just part of it. But I like
how you just kind of boiled it down. Just be respectful. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. And that means sometimes, to me, when you say be respectful, in my mind, I think not just sharing it the way I'm comfortable with it, because that's not necessarily respectful. Yeah. But thinking about how that external person might feel comfortable in the way that I share it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
you can't please everyone, which is the thing.
True.
I'm not trying to post it in a way that people that hate hunting are going to be okay with it, because they're never going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to post it in a way. We try to, if we have a white-tailed deer, we try to sit them up sort of proud and like their heads are high and they look like big, strong animals, which is what they are. And obviously, once you hunt it, like you can't do that for
it's
itself.
such a hard thing for people, non-hunters, to understand too. I posted a photo not too long ago, and you know, someone had watched it and said, saw the picture and said, you know, that deer, it seems kind of funny. You've posed it and you've got it all nice and there's no blood on it, and it looks like you're there with your buddy, you know, your buddy reindeer Rudolph, you know, and they're like, that, you just killed it. You know, it seems a bizarre contrast to them. And it was an opportunity for me to then share why I did that. You know, that it's more of a respect for the animal. I want to capture its beauty. And yes, I'm going to eat it. And yes, I killed it. But I take responsibility for that action and not getting it from the grocery store.
So you did it legally and ethically, and you raised money in the process for conservation and wildlife management.
The whole
and then you say to that person, like, what did you do this week for wildlife management? Like, I want to see the dollar figure that what you just put into protecting deer or ducks or whatever it is. And you're like, they're like, oh, okay. And then that's the other thing that I've grown up believing, and my dad's kind of ingrained in me, is that, and sometimes as much as I want to fight it and I just want to like kick and scream and yell at somebody, which I so far have not done, he says, and I truly believe, that anti-hunters and people that come and attack us verbally most often, through a computer very much most often, they're not necessarily coming from a bad place. They're not bad people. They don't have bad hearts. If anything, they're just misinformed because they think they're coming from a good place. They're trying to save animals. And so I will give them that they think they are saving animals. But by stopping hunters, which as hunters we're the biggest conservationists on earth, we're the biggest single group of people that raise the most money for wildlife management. These people, anti-hunters, are trying to stop hunters. So you do the math and you're like, well, if you're stopping hunting, then the conservation dollars are going to stop, and then your animals that you think you're protecting are actually going to start dying. And you're like, really? Do you think that?
This is
do you think that
going
makes
where you
sense?
think it's going.
Yeah, I know. And then I don't know. And
probably spend a lot of time doing that, you know, explaining that sort of stuff. I mean,
and
it's like a full-time job,
it's very common sense. It's just the most common answer. Like it doesn't take a lot of my brains to say that, because I'm so used to saying it. But I don't judge people that don't get that. No. I just want to talk to them. I just want to hug them and be like, okay, this is how
I saw you on
works.
Fox Business, which was really cool, and I thought you did a great job on that.
Ago.
Yeah,
that
was real fresh. And one of the gentlemen on there said, you know, hunters typically inebriated, you know, it's a common theme or something like that. And
I was holding my tongue so badly.
But I think that stereotype exists, especially among, you know, those that are a little more disconnected from the outdoors and from where their food comes from.
I agree 100%. And that's just part of the stereotype that I've
But he's had to be looking at you and seeing this whole new type of hunter that it just annihilates his stereotype.
Exactly. And that's why I think that when I post something on Facebook and my dad posts something, I will get annihilated by people 10 times out of 10 more often than him. And that's because when they see this picture of Eva Shockey that just hunted this moose, say, versus Jim Shockey, they're like, oh, well, Jim Shockey, that's what a hunter should be. This old, rough, gray-haired,
that's expected,
kind of overweight guy. Just kidding, Dad. Just like, you know, just a stereotypical hunter, what they think. And then they see me, and these anti-hunters are like, well, that kind of comes into our space. Like, people like her shouldn't be hunting. We're fighting people like her being hunters because we want them to be against hunting.
Threatened against someone like you.
That's exactly. They're threatened by me, and so
that's
they
why
attack
I think
me more.
women coming into the hunting industry is such a big deal.
It's huge. It's a whole demographic that's never been explored before.
And when someone like you comes in, my wife starts hunting, the non-hunter has a really hard time portraying that old stereotype that is stuck in their head when they see an attractive, intelligent, articulate, educated woman come on the scene, tender, kind. That person comes on the scene, they cannot help but go, it goes against the stereotype they're trying to sell out there for hunters.
Which is, I agree 100%, and it's bad for the anti-hunters because they are challenged by this. They're challenged like, who is this girl? We don't want her around. We don't want her voicing her opinion about how good hunting is. But it's good for hunters because people like my dad, who's obviously an amazing hunter. He's the most knowledgeable hunter I've ever met, and like good person, positive. He does what he does because he absolutely loves it, believes in it. He reaches a certain audience, and then his audience sort of stops. At a certain audience. And whereas my audience that I can reach out to and relate to, they're totally different. They're all these girls that this 13-year-old girl, I mean, maybe she would, but most likely she's not going to go see Jim Shockey and be like, oh, well, like I look up to Jim Shockey. I mean, he's like a 58-year-old man, and I look up to him because he's my dad. But if he wasn't my dad, I don't necessarily have other 50-year-old men that I look up to. And so they see me in this whole other world of people that could potentially be hunters. And I don't, when I say hunters, I don't even mean you have to shoot something. I just mean pro hunters. People that understand what we do, believe in it, and they're good with it. Like they get, we eat what we hunt. That is why we hunt. And they eat a hamburger from the grocery store. And I mean, I have no problem with that. I don't care if you go to the grocery store. But if we're going to go eat meat, wear leather belts, sit in a car with leather seats, like any of those things and a million other things, like then you cannot say anything bad about what I do, because what I do, the only difference is that I'm not disconnected. I go right to the source. I know where it comes from. And and I'm putting money into conservation while I'm at it.
Yeah. Well, I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. I promise.
No, this is great. It's nice not to walk around. It's nice to just sit here comfortable and talk.
If you had, like, what is your ideal hunt? Weather, weapon, location, animal, like species, people you'd go with, the whole package. What's your ideal kind of hunt?
That's a great question. All those things. I've hunted with my dad pretty much exclusively over the last little while. Like I hunt by myself now more so, but I grew up hunting with him, so I do love hunting with him. Now that I'm recently married, my husband is a hunter, but he's a hockey player, so he misses the hunting season all the time since he was 15 because he plays hockey, or since he was probably 4 because he plays hockey. So if I could be in my ideal world, we could just have a week off from hockey season in the middle of the fall during the rut, ideally.
It's a little bit of a problem, though.
Yes, and both have our bows. We both shoot Bowtex. Have our bows. Bring my dad also, and he could guide us.
Yeah, sweet.
I don't want him to hunt because then he would take all the attention. So Tim and I would be hunting. My dad would be guiding, and in the Yukon in September, like the first week of September during the rut for moose would be.
Really?
And I've never shot a moose with a bow, and I think I'd be panicked. I'd probably pass out, but it would be the coolest thing ever. And just in the Yukon, if you catch it in the right week, which every year is a little different because of the weather. If you catch it, it's just so beautiful out and gorgeous. Not hot, not cold.
Yeah.
The moose come, you can call them in, and they come in 50 yards from miles away. You call them like my dad does a voice call. It's just incredible.
So that's the Eva Shockey dream hunt.
Yeah, that would be it.
Nice.
I could list a lot, actually, now that you asked that question. I could list about 50 different hunts, but that would be my all-time favorite. And I would want my mom there, even though she doesn't hunt. I'd want her just there along for the ride. I don't know if she would like it very much, but I'd like it that she's there.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for coming on. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I have this cake to eat.
I know.
I'm going to bring it and eat the whole thing to myself.
How's marriage, by the way?
It's great.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I got married right before hunting season, and then I pretty much left from the week after our wedding until now, 6 months later. So I owe him some time at home, and I definitely miss him, and I would like to go home for a little while.
So busy.
We are busy, which is we love, because we're not going to be like this forever, and so we definitely are very aware of that. We try to appreciate that, or we do appreciate that, but at the same time, you definitely want to be together and experience like his hockey world a lot too. It's hard to balance hunting and hockey because we both have very extreme schedules, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And he's the greatest. Everyone here would love him. I just wish I could take him to hockey for 1 week just to like introduce him and say, look how great he is.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you, Eva. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Okay, Gritty friends, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes, Podbean, or Stitcher. We love reading your reviews. And connect with us on social media if you're on there. Look us up on Facebook and Instagram, and take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can receive notifications when we upload new videos. We've got a sweet deal with Mountain Ops. You get 20% off on all Mountain Ops supplements, combo packs, and apparel when you type in the word gritty at checkout. If you're a hardcore elk hunter, or you want to be, go to the Elk 101 website online and check them out. Our friend Corey Jacobson is killing it with some of the best elk hunting information and entertainment on the web. If you haven't heard, we're doing a huge gear giveaway to try and grow and expand the Gritty community on Facebook and Instagram. I asked a bunch of friends to pitch in on this gear giveaway, and they all came through with some awesome stuff. Our friends at Kifaru, Rockslide, First Light, Phelps Game Calls, One Shot Gear, Mountain Ops, Triple X Archery, Blacktail Outdoors, and Is It September Yet are pitching in some sweet gear for the giveaway. We'll announce all the details in the next few weeks. All you have to do to be entered to win is like our Gritty Bowman Facebook page and follow us on Instagram. Alright friends, let me leave you with one other quote from Theodore Roosevelt, who said, "It behooves every man to remember that the work of the critic is of altogether secondary importance, and that, in the end, progress is accomplished by the man who does things." We all have a choice. We can be people who do things or people who criticize the work of others. It's pretty simple, really. Get out there and do your thing. Good luck on your hunts and stay gritty.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowman.
Gritty Bowman.